So, Bill, what are we watching this week?
I'll give you a hint.
I hate you so much.
I get the feeling you're mad at me about something.
What? Why would I be mad, Bill? I'm thrilled to wear this stupid hat and watch this stupid movie.
Hey, I like this movie.
That's good. Tell me why you like it.
Shouldn't you introduce this first?
Welcome to the Out of Touch podcast. I'm Chris. That's Bill. Am I gonna wear this hat the whole time?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So we're watching the Super Mario Brothers movie this week from 1993. So Bill, tell me, why do you love this movie so much?
Because I watched it when I was 5.
Okay, cool. But why?
I don't know, I just think it's kind of fun.
Okay. Well,
It's kind of stupid, but I like it.
it's a weird movie, like emphasis on like a super weird movie that really has nothing to do with the source material in a weird
What
way.
are you talking about? They're plumbers from Brooklyn fighting a King Koopa in a mushroom kingdom. What more do you want? And there's
Yeah.
Goombas
Yeah.
and Bob-ombs.
Okay, there are a lot of things from the games utilized in a weird way.
I don't know, the bomb is used pretty perfectly in my opinion.
I guess it is.
It's a bomb that blows shit up. What more do you want?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to go about talking about this movie, so,
I mean, this is the first ever live-action video game movie.
is it really?
Pretty sure. At least one that's based on a video game. Tron's not based on a video game, so it doesn't fucking count.
What about that Starfighter thing? Wasn't that a game?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, there was a game in the movie,
Okay,
but it's not based on a video game.
right.
This was based on a video game.
Okay.
Several, in fact.
Yeah, it's very weird. You know, like you said, this movie is Mario and Luigi. They're plumbers from Brooklyn. They end up going to the weird, what do we call it? Like dinosaur world?
Apparently, it's called Dino Hatton.
Okay, Dino Hatton.
In the backstory of this movie, when the meteorite hit the Earth that wiped out the dinosaurs, it also created an alternate dimension where dinosaurs survived, I guess, but they're
Evolved into humans.
human-esque looking. Some of those people don't look very human,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
but they're like living in like a horrific wasteland. It's literally just the one city.
Yeah. I don't know. As a kid, I thought this movie was like fine, but every time I see it as an adult, I'm like, I think this movie sucks. And it's more along the lines of, I know sometimes you shouldn't judge a movie on like, well, why isn't it like this? But I can't help but feel, why isn't this more like the Mario games? Because Super Mario World was out when they made this.
Yes, it was.
They could have totally had a scenario where Mario and Luigi are plumbers from Brooklyn, but then get sucked into a more similar, world as like Mario is.
From what I understand, there was a version of a script where they were kind of going for almost a Wizard of Oz, like crazy fantasy land.
Which would make a lot more sense, I think.
Probably. I don't know if they could have pulled it off in the 90s, budgetary-wise. Hard to say.
I mean, they pulled Wizard of Oz off in the 50s, but I guess if they wanted to make Bowser like the way he is in the games,
Yeah, think about that.
that would be expensive.
They needed a witch. They painted a woman green.
That's true.
But, it ended up in the hands of these two, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, hack
I was
directors.
going to say eccentric weirdos.
As Bob Hoskins, who plays Mario in this, said, their arrogance was mistaken for talent, apparently.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know how chopped up this movie is. Apparently, there's a lot of deleted scenes, and there is literally a fan-made recut that restores a lot of deleted scenes. I've yet to watch it myself, but I might check it out one of these days.
That's interesting. This movie is so bizarre. Like, Mario and Luigi, It's like Mario seems like he's old enough to be Luigi's father.
There's like a 20-year age gap at least.
Yeah. And it's weird. I'm just like, so like, did Mario get a girl pregnant when he was like 15 and then she had a baby and then like
He just lied
then
and said,
Mario's mom had to raise the baby and then they just lied and said, "Oh, he's your brother, not actually your father."
I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
I just think they just Mr. and Mrs. Mario had a kid, then like 2 decades later had another kid.
Yeah. And I guess but like Luigi says Mario pretty much raised him
Well, obviously the parents died shortly after.
in a mysterious plumbing accident.
Yes. So many plungers
I
everywhere.
don't know, maybe it involved Dino Hatton or whatever.
Could have.
It's weird. Like, I don't know what to say about this movie because, like, I don't like it. I don't like it for a lot of reasons. But I will say there was a lot of effort put into making this movie, and a lot of people got hurt making it.
Yes.
So I guess that's admirable.
Unless you're Bob Hoskins, who was even like 15 years later, he was still salty.
You know, I don't blame them.
No, I wouldn't blame him at all either.
They had some like weird stuff going on. So yeah, I don't know how to really talk about. There's some like surprising things in this movie that I was genuinely like, okay, like, did the games actually get this idea from the movie, or is it just a coincidence?
Like what?
Like the ice slide from Mario 64, which is in this movie.
That's probably a coincidence.
Yeah. Also, I guess Mario and Luigi Mario, was that always a thing, or did that come from the movie?
I'm assuming it came from the movie because the movie was trying to make sense of why they're called the Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
If his name is Mario.
Exactly.
It's like, how insulting is that to Luigi?
Yeah. It's weird too because it's like, it's King Koopa. He's not Bowser, but by this time he was Bowser.
In fairness, I never heard the word Bowser until like Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And in the cartoons, he was King Koopa.
Okay.
So calling him Koopa makes more sense. Because
Yeah.
I think more people knew him as Koopa.
Okay.
At least I certainly did.
He was a weird choice because he wasn't cool and like tough and menacing.
No.
He was like scared of germs.
Yeah. And I mentioned it while we were watching it. Growing up, I always thought that he had like reptile ridges on his head. And it wasn't until I was a little older that I was like, wait a minute, that's his hair.
Yeah.
They should have did what I thought they did. Would have looked a little cooler.
Yeah. Certain things, I'm like, Mario has a girlfriend in this movie. That's oddly enough not Pauline.
You know what? If that was more well known, she probably would have been named Pauline because they
Yeah.
have a lot of weird Easter eggs in this movie.
They do. It's Princess Daisy, not Princess Peach.
In fairness, she wasn't Princess Peach till the Nintendo 64. Before that, she was just Princess Toadstool, and the only princess that had a name was the Game Boy game where she was called Daisy.
That's true.
And I had no idea that those were separate characters until they introduced Daisy in like the 2010s or whatever.
To be fair, I think they weren't separate characters until they were just like, we need another character for Mario Tennis.
Yeah, and she's Luigi's love interest by default because of this movie.
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to point out. Was like, is that because of the movies?
I'm going to say yes, even though Nintendo likes to pretend this movie doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's weird too because like at least like the creator of Mario I read doesn't really like hate this movie. He's just like, I appreciate they put a lot of effort into it.
I once saw a weird quote where he said it's like they tried to follow the games too much.
Yeah,
And I'm like, did that get lost in translation?
it's like, I'm sorry. Did I not play the correct Super Mario Brothers? Is there a Super Mario Brothers director's cut? Well, no, there's not. Like,
No, but there's the Super Mario Brothers movie, the game, just like with Street Fighter. We're digitized people.
no, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
Is there really?
No, I'm lying.
Okay.
But there should be.
I thought it was like one of those like horrible like CDI games that Nintendo is like ashamed of.
Oh my god. Actually, I think the Mario one is like okay compared to the garbage Zelda ones.
Yeah,
I mean, not great, but more playable
I
probably.
guess. It's like all the Mario games for the most part are like really good games, and then there's Hotel Mario, which some people like, but they're weird.
It's not edutainment
That's true.
like Mario's missing.
Yeah.
and those other ones.
Yeah, or the one with Charles Martinet doing the voice of Mario, where he's playing Go Fish.
What?
Yeah, it's the first game he did like the voice of Mario for like some PC game, and you play Go Fish with him. You've never seen the meme of like Mario sitting there and he's just like Go Fishies or whatever.
No.
Yeah, well, he's from that game.
Please give me your Luigi's.
Mario, go fish!
Come here, fishy fishy.
Ew.
Yeah,
You say this movie's bad?
I mean,
You're wrong.
it's really bad. I don't like it. There's a lot of like, just like weirdness in it. They like to play a certain song like all the time in the movie, which
It's the main theme of the characters. What do you want? All movies do that. You just happen to not like this theme.
I don't know.
It probably pops up just as much as the Batman theme or the Spider-Man theme or the Avengers theme. It's just you don't like this particular piece of music that it grates on you that it keeps popping up.
Maybe that's true.
It's 100% true.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I don't know. It's just weird because the music seems to not fit like some of the situations.
yeah,
It's kind of like going out to the town music, but then like
it works in, you know what, it's funny? It works in the beginning of the movie when they're kind of having their little shenanigans in Brooklyn.
and it works for like the driving stuff, but then some of the other things I'm like, why are they playing this song again?
It needed a different rendition maybe,
Yeah.
or, the Mario Brothers theme.
They played at the very beginning of the movie and then never again.
Yeah, they did.
And it's like, why? Why? You could have like had some of the music, like
Maybe it's a rights thing. Maybe it was too expensive. I don't know.
I don't know. That's weird. I mean, there's like you said, there's a lot of the other Mario stuff in here. We've got Yoshi, who is like literally like a horrifying looking dinosaur.
He's not horrifying looking.
He's kind of creepy looking.
He looks fine.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool if Yoshi actually ate that lady.
That would have been kind of awesome if Yoshi just gobbled her up.
I mean, the lady still dies in a horrifying way.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
she
does.
gets electrocuted first and then gets blown up into a skeleton.
Yeah, she
So
does
it's-
deserve it.
It's like, why couldn't you just have Yoshi eat this lady and then poop out an egg?
I don't know. It would have been a difficult effect to pull off. Maybe it would have been too violent for what I guess is considered a kid's movie.
Boy, it sure is a kid's movie. A weird-ass kid's movie.
It's a kid's movie in a way where it's like, yeah, it's for kids, all right. Fucked up, messed up kids.
Yeah.
It's fun. I kind of almost look at this movie in some ways that I looked at the first Ninja Turtle movie when I was a kid. Granted, I think the first Ninja Turtle movie is great.
Yeah.
It's way better than this.
Indeed.
But from the eyes of a little kid watching both of those movies, they are so different from what I know the Ninja Turtles were and what Mario was that I was just like, well, this is just what the movie's like. That's just how I think of it. It's like, oh, there's no Krang and Technodrome and the foot soldiers are humans. Well, that's because it's a movie. It's like, oh, there's no like, they're not jumping on turtles and weird things like that. Oh, it's because it's a movie. Though I also think that they didn't do Koopa Troopas because they would just look like Ninja Turtles,
See,
which would actually make this movie even cooler.
with the Ninja Turtles movie, I had a mom that had some comic book knowledge that like knew a little bit about the Ninja Turtles that kind of told me when I was young it's kind of like what the comic book Ninja Turtles were.
Didn't know they were based on a comic till I was like 10.
Yeah, but when it came to this movie, as a kid, I'm not even gonna lie, I was 100% confused if this actually was Mario Brothers the video game or if this was like just like Mario Brothers the movie, something totally unrelated to the video game.
I never had that confusion.
I
You
don't
know what it is? I just took the movie at face value. I'm like, yeah, this is what the Mario Brothers movie's like.
I just was like, is this really like the Mario Brothers like from the game, or is this like just like a random movie called Mario Brothers?
Even when they eventually do put on the jumpsuits.
Yeah, I mean, I guess eventually, and that's like the last third of the movie, but before then it's just like, they got their pimpin' suits on for a little bit.
Like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I guess. But it sure lasted longer than that in my mind. But
Everything seems to last longer in your mind when it comes to this movie.
I mean, I don't know. Something about the movie is just like weird. I mean, and I guess it's intentionally weird. You know, you've got Toad as like a man.
He's a weird beatnik,
Yeah.
and then he gets turned into a Goomba.
Yeah. Which is like, I'm like, okay, those are the Goombas from the games. And I'm like, why are they the Goombas? Like, maybe they should have just made them like Koopa Troopers instead.
But then people would be like, why aren't they turtles?
I guess. It's weird. They could have made like Goombas like, I don't know, like turn them into like short little things or something so Mario could actually jump on them.
I don't know what to tell you, Chris.
Yeah.
It's not what they went for.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Such a weird movie, and I guess I can't help but compare it to the games and think like, why did they make these choices? Why did the Nintendo let them do it? But I guess Nintendo literally was just like, we'll let the directors be creative, and then they're like, never again. We will never make anything again that is not video games.
Yeah, they didn't let anything happen till relatively recently.
Yeah, I'm guessing this movie did like horrible when it came out.
I'm pretty sure it bombed.
Yeah, and it like
It didn't get a sequel, even though it ends with a blatant sequel hook.
it really does.
It had some toys. We actually had the Mario.
Wow. I can only imagine what a sequel would be like.
Apparently, you don't have to, because some of the writers wrote a sequel comic.
Well,
It's a fan comic, obviously, because they can't officially publish it, but it's out there for the world to see.
I want to imagine my own sequel where like where like Mario actually tells Luigi he's his father before he dies, and then he takes his mustache off and he gives it to Luigi, and he's just like, it's your time to be the hero, Luigi.
This is why people don't let you write.
I don't know. But it is weird that it has a sequel hook. It's weird the two Japanese men show up in the post-credit scene to like try to make a video game.
Off of the Koopa Cousins.
Yeah.
When I told you this movie had a post-credit scene, you looked like you wanted to die.
Because like I was like the credits rolled and I'm like, hey, it's over. What do you mean there's more?
I was like, all right, now fast forward to the post-credit scene, and you looked at me like I was lying.
Yeah. I like how they play that Everybody Wants to Be a Dinosaur song. Took me back to my childhood.
Guess you heard that song a lot, huh?
I guess I did, because in first grade we had a play about dinosaurs, and I remember them playing that song.
I did hear it sporadically in different things around this same time.
Yeah. I don't know if that song was made for this movie or just around.
I think it was just around.
Yeah. It's a fun song.
Oh, so you like this movie? It's a fun movie.
I like that song. Well, Bill, tell me, what do you like about this movie?
Well, for starters, I like Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. I think they play off each other rather well, even though a British man and a Latino have no business playing in Italian.
Yes.
But
as Italian Americans, we're offended.
not really.
Yeah. They do a pretty good job, honestly.
Like I said, I like their banter. I think they're fun to watch together.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And Bob Hoskins, he's British, but he's basically doing the same performance he did in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, more or less.
I almost expect him to be like, Luigi.
Yeah. It is weird that they're like Mario and Luigi's character traits are kind of reverse, but granted, they at this point, I guess.
They really have personalities.
I mean, there was that cartoon. I've never watched it. That cartoon was like before our time.
I used to watch reruns of it when I was little. We had a tape of it too.
Yeah.
With a couple episodes on it.
But it's supposed to be like Mario is kind of like the brave, like just like goes into everything like head first, where Luigi's kind of more scared, but it's a little opposite in this.
I wouldn't say Mario's scared. He's more like, what are you doing?
I guess Mario's more cautious.
Yeah, he's not. Luigi's more reckless because he's the younger brother.
Where it's like kind of opposite, like the way their personalities are portrayed in the games, I think now, where Luigi's, kind of the fraidy cat. That's why it's the game about hunting ghosts. But
and Mario's a neat freak, so he's got a clean shit.
yeah, that is definitely not the case in the games. If you play Luigi's Mansion 3, you go into Mario's hotel room, and he is an absolute slob.
He learned nothing from Mario Sunshine.
Yeah. Which is just like, it's like, wait, you're supposed to be Italian, right? I don't think that would have happened. Most Italians that I know are very neat because their moms and dads demand them to clean their rooms constantly. At least in my house, they did.
Look, you don't want to piss off an Italian mother. Let me just leave it at that. They get loud.
And they put weird plastic on the furniture.
Oh, that's previous generation, but yeah. Look, I had a great aunt that did that.
My grandma did it.
Yeah. I would sidebar. I remember seeing that in like Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm like, oh my god, other people did that.
You gotta keep the furniture fresh.
Yeah. I also kind of giggle at the fact that Koopa has his de-evolution guns, and they're just Super Scope 6s painted black.
That is a fun touch.
Did you ever have that?
The Super Scope 6?
Yes.
No, I never had any of the light gun accessories for any system I owned.
Really? Not even the Zapper?
I didn't actually own a Nintendo until I was in my 20s and then sold it.
Well, I'll say this about the Super Scope 6. It was a piece of crap!
You had it?
Yes!
Wow.
It barely worked!
Oh, man.
It was shit! It was a piece of shit! I mean, it was fun to pretend to play with, but fuck if you actually wanted to use it.
Wow, weird.
Yeah. I mean, I only worked for like the one game that we had, like the game that came with it.
I think there was only like a handful of games that actually worked.
Oh, I'm
with it.
sure.
Yeah.
Because it was garbage. Like you had to have this like box thing. You had to plug it into the system, put it on top of the TV or whatever. And that's kind of like what you were, that was like the light gun connective thing.
Yeah.
But it never fucking worked.
Could you do the trick with it? Like, I remember my friend had one of those guns for the regular Nintendo, but if you put it like by the lamp and just shot it, you would hit every time.
I don't know if because like the Super Scope had like a sensor thing with the box that you plugged into the TV, so that probably wouldn't work for that.
Okay, weird.
But also, it was crap.
Yeah,
It was a piece of crap.
it was.
It's probably why they didn't make many games for it.
That's probably it. When I was a kid, I was lucky I at least got a Super Nintendo. So
Look, the Super Nintendo was awesome.
it was awesome. Still
The
is
Super
awesome.
Scope 6 sucked.
Yeah.
It was cool as just we have a toy bazooka, yeah. But
Yeah.
Lord knows I could never freaking get the game part to work.
Wow. Do you still have it?
No, it's long gone.
Oh, okay. You're like, I threw it off the roof.
Oh, somebody threw it out. Somebody smashed it or threw it out or didn't. I couldn't tell you what happened to it.
Nice.
But we had it for a long time. It was missing the scope after a while.
Huh.
And I'm sure the box thing disappeared. And then eventually it was just like, why do we have this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I guess when this movie came out, Super Nintendo was probably out for like 2 years or 3 years.
Depending on where you lived.
Yeah, that too. So, Mario World was a thing.
Indeed.
Which, added a lot to Mario lore, but
I mean, it added Yoshi.
yeah.
That was it. Oh, and the Koopa Kids. And hey,
No,
this movie had Yoshi.
Koopa Kids were in Mario Brothers 3.
Were they?
Yeah.
I don't remember them being in that game.
Yeah, they're I'm pretty sure they are in Mario Brothers 3.
Well, either way, this movie's got Yoshi. And there's cousins, but aren't Iggy and Spike two of the Koopa Kids?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
It's the 90s, so there just needs to occasionally be two thundering idiot villain henchmen.
Yeah, they kind of remind me a little bit of Bulk and Skull.
That, the weird moron henchmen that were in the Three Ninja movies.
Oh man, I haven't seen those movies in forever.
Yeah, I don't. There was others too. Probably all derived from Harry and Marv from Home Alone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Well, I don't know what else to say about this movie except it's bad and I don't like it.
Well, I like it. I don't know why. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what your problem is. Why don't you like fun?
I like fun.
Do you? You don't even like Marvel things anymore.
Whoa. Just gonna start this? It's not that I don't like them, Bill. I'm just tired of them.
I am too.
I don't think they're bad. It's just they make too many.
Honestly, I wish we had I almost wish we set up the camera while we were watching this just to see the two different reactions. You're just sitting there like this. Oh, that song again.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here like this, yeah, I remember that part. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think of anything else worth talking about in this movie. Like we said, they put a lot of effort into the design of like the weird city and
It's very like grungy Blade Runner almost.
yeah, a little bit. There's weird fungus all over the place.
Credit where credit's due. It's clever that all the cars are electric because there's no fossil fuels.
Exactly.
Because dinosaurs didn't die.
No. They went on living.
Yep.
And you can't have gas-powered cars without dinosaur juice.
Exactly. I like, there's no rats. There's these little dinosaurs just skirting around. We see them every once in a while.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always think is kind of weird about these things where, they have, Yoshi, who's like, a little dinosaur, but it's just like, kind of like, I don't know, it's weird because I guess like some people keep like little tiny monkeys as pets, but it is like weird. It's like, why wouldn't it just be like another animal? But I don't know. It just makes me think like having a tiny human, but I'm like, well, I guess a tiny human would be a little monkey.
Yeah.
But
and
those things are vicious and they go for the eyes and genitals if they get mad at you.
I mean, look at Yoshi.
Yeah.
In a couple of years, Yoshi would have eaten that lady up.
I guess so.
And, I get a kick out of all the Easter eggs. There's the garbage men that look like Shy Guys.
Yeah.
We got the jump boots that they load up with what looks like bullet bills.
Yeah, I guess. Like, that's one thing that's kind of weird. It's like the technology aspect of the whole, like, dino hat and thing. It's like kind of like, I guess, like, you have to explain, like, a reason why Mario and Luigi can jump so high when they're in, like, Mushroom Kingdom. I always thought, like, in my mind, it's like, well, they went into another world and it has less gravity than, like, the normal world. And they have superpowers in the, like, Mushroom world. But when they go back to, the real world, they're just normal people.
That would actually be kind of clever.
Yeah. But whatever.
You just John Carter of Mars that shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, who knows? They're making a Mario movie with interesting casting. Let's just say
Chris Pratt is Mario.
Yeah.
Was it Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong?
Yeah, which I guess this Mario will have a history of animal abuse.
It depends if Cranky Kong's in the movie or not.
It's weird that, when you think about it, you could say, like, oh, well, that's not Mario, that's Jumpman. But it's just like, Mario started off as the bad guy. And in Donkey Kong...
No, he didn't. Donkey Kong was the bad guy.
He put Donkey Kong in a cage, though.
That was because Donkey Kong stole his girlfriend.
But
Donkey Kong was in prison paying for his crimes.
I always thought that maybe I'm going a little too far in my mind, but I thought Mario abducted Donkey Kong from the jungle, like in King Kong, and was going to use him to make money in the city. And then Donkey Kong got mad and then, like, pulled a King Kong and stole his girlfriend.
Mario was a carpenter in that game. Why could he even... How or why would he even be able to do that?
I guess maybe somebody else stole Donkey Kong, and
Clearly.
then Donkey Kong stole his wife.
Yes.
Okay, or girlfriend at the time.
Mario was just
Pauline.
an innocent victim of circumstances and a battle a giant gorilla to save his girl, who then broke up with him anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But she became the mayor of New Donk City in Mario Odyssey.
Okay.
Yeah. Continuity.
Fair enough. And, he locked up the giant rampaging gorilla, and then Donkey Kong Jr. was like, I'm going to save my dad.
And then Mario was like, not if I have anything to do with it.
Yes. Because
So then he became the bad guy in the second game.
Bad guy by perspective.
I guess. I guess it's not as bad as I thought.
No, not at all. You are way off.
Well,
Just like you are way off with this movie.
Maybe. But
Look, I understand why people don't like it. I get it to some degree. I enjoy it for what it is. I have fun with it. Is it faithful to the games? Superficially, it is. Mario and Luigi go to another world to save a princess from Koopa.
yeah,
Superficially, it's there. That is the story.
I guess so.
It's just the execution is so. It's like a crazy Elseworlds version of Mario.
It is. That's the best way to describe it. It's so like bizarre and different.
It's so crazy that the live action Mario movie would be this like crazy, gritty, weird version,
Yeah.
and not like a more whimsical version that you would have done
Yeah.
under any other sensible circumstances. Instead, weird, crazy shit happened, and we got this movie instead.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they could have gone like in like the total opposite direction where like the world they go into is like medieval times. You know, just like to be like, oh, it's a princess, so like medieval times, and like Bowser is like
Castle.
a weird thing.
He's a dragon.
Yeah. But
That would have been expensive.
it would have been, but they made that movie like Willow, and that's like a medieval times thing.
Yeah, and how successful was that?
I have no idea, but they're making a TV show about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Ron Howard's payment for redirecting Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Oh, good for him, I guess.
Yeah, play the system, man.
My sister likes that movie a lot.
Look, I'm not
so-
saying it's a bad movie. You know, good movies fail and bad movies succeed sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. Transformers 4 makes $1 billion and nobody saw Dread.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's not great, but I guess I can't say it's interesting at least.
Hey, somebody somewhere put in some effort. I mean, granted,
Not denying that.
granted, John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins were apparently drunk to get through the awful, awful filming.
Wow. I was looking for the scene where he drives the truck real fast, and like apparently Bob Hoskins got hurt, and you can like see it in the movie.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but I didn't see it. Maybe it's a deleted scene, but he is driving that truck like a crazy man at the beginning of the movie.
I mean, it might not be something you could see where he's just like, I'm injured.
Yeah,
Somebody yell, cut. Bloody hell.
I'm British now.
I'm not a weird method actor, so I broke character.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, so Mario Brothers, the original movie, it happened. They're making a new movie in 2023. Will it live up to being completely weird and different from the games? I guess only time will find out.
Well, it's being made by Illumination, so it has a chance of not being as terrible as if it was made by Sony Animation.
I think Sony Animation does good work, besides for that Emoji movie.
I guess I'm judging them very harshly based on that.
But
They chose to make that over a Popeye movie made by Gendy.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm always going to hold that against them.
Well, last point, I guess, since the Mario movie is being made by Illumination, which Mario characters do you think are going to be the minions of this movie? Is it going to be the Goombas, the Koopa Troopers, or possibly the Shy Guys?
I hope it's the Koopa Troopas. I like turtles.
I like turtles too.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's probably going to be the fucking Goombas. They're sillier looking.
they are sillier looking. I wonder, will they be the normal Goombas or the chestnut Goombas?
What?
You know, like Super Mario World has like those different like Goombas, the chestnut ones. You jump on their head and then you can like pick them up.
Oh, the ones that are like a little more rounded.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Nah, they'll probably be the classic ones.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I
They'll,
guess.
they'll look like the 3D versions of the ones from the first game.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the Out of Touch podcast for this week. I'm
can't-
wearing a Mario hat.
I can't believe you're wearing that still.
You said I'd get mushrooms after this.
I said no such thing.